All right, so this is Cherish the Season bundle, and you'll be making 2 of the green cards and 1 of this berry card, and they're exactly the same, except for the designer series paper and the background. So just match up this paper with the brown piece that you have in your packet, and that you'll make 1 of those, and then the rest, the green with the holly berries, you'll make 2 of those. So you'll have 3 jingle bells per card. So if you open it up, there's a small one inside and 2 for the front. You'll have 4 sprigs for each card, because I know you got this all in one packet. So if you want to separate out 4 sprigs, 2 large, 2 small, and 3 jingle bells. Your layers, which would be your card base, this embossed piece. We'll start with the green here. Do the green and the designer series paper and a tag, which has 2 layers to it, and a piece of ribbon. The vanilla ribbon with the gold trim, you'll save that for the berry card. So once you have your first card arranged so that we can assemble it, let me know, or I'll give you just a minute to get them organized, because I know there's a lot of pieces.
So the berries go on which cardstock? Must be the brownish.
The brown. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay, so I just wanted to introduce to you, while you're doing that, I wanted to introduce the set that we use with this. The Merry Christmas Sentiment came from the Cherish the Season set, and it comes with jingle bells that you can stamp, a to from and sprigs, and another saying for the holidays. And then these are the dies, and you get 3 jingle bells, well actually 4, you get this little one here. These 2 dies cut out stamped images, and you're probably wondering, what is this little guy here? What does he do? And it is actually, when you cut it out, it will fill in this line. You can make this line on the jingle bell a different color by die cutting a different color cardstock. So, so that's what that's for on that. And then you'll notice, treat your jingle bells gently, because this little holly will punch out. So that if you wanted to punch them out, you could put, green leaves and red berries behind your jingle bell to give it some contrast. So some of yours may have fallen out.
Oh, that explains the loose holly leaf that I see.
Yep, I got to cut. What is this? And I saved them. I see them. Yep.
Yep. So if you want to use them, you can glue them onto your project. Yep. But I'm pretty sure I made sure everybody had all their leaves. And then notice this paper. I love this paper because it's our new brass foil, because it looks so metallic. It makes it look so realistic, like a real jingle bell. So I'm excited we came out with this really shiny foil paper.
That's pretty.
I just love it on that. So, okay, so that's what we used on this project. And so I just did die cutting and a little bit of stamping. And you should have a vanilla sheet also, 1 per card, that's got the sentiment on it stamped. And this one comes from our Peaceful Boughs stamp set. I love this saying. Okay, so now that you've got everything set aside for doing 1 card, we'll start by folding. You should have a score line. I don't have one on mine, but you should have a score line on your cardstock. And we'll just fold the card. And then you have this was embossed with our Dainty Diamonds embossing folder.
That's pretty.
Isn't it pretty? So I do love that. And so you'll flip it over. I guess, yeah, there's one side that's raised, so that'll go facing up on the front of your card. So flipping it over, you'll put either tear and tape or adhesive. Both will work. Tear and tape is a bit stronger, but you'll put adhesive on the back. If you're going to use Tombow adhesive or whatever adhesive you have, it's important when you're done to go ahead and burnish it onto your card. Burnishing is just rubbing it onto your card so that it has a good stick. And nobody tells you that, but then I learned that my embossed pieces do stay on the card much better once I go around and burnish it on the edges. I always thought I had to use tear and tape, but on this one, adhesive should be fine because it's not a real deep emboss. It's really a slight emboss, so it should stick really well with just regular adhesive.
Carol, I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm still kind of trying to sort through. I seem to be a few boughs short of a full tree over here. How many,
Okay.
how many branches am I supposed to have?
Okay, so you should have 4 boughs. I don't know if you can see it in the picture. You should have 2 large and 2 small for each card.
Okay, I think I just figured out what I was doing. Sorry about that. Thank you.
Okay,
Wait,
no.
I don't have 2 large and 2 small for each card.
You don't? How are you short?
Let me just redo my math here. I guess I'm short a small bow. It's okay. I'll figure it out.
Okay,
Sorry,
well,
carry on.
Well, you know, Suzanne, if you win a prize, there could be a small bow in there with your prize. So
I hope that's not the only thing. That's surprise, Dan. You've just sealed your face.
so it's a small bow, is that right? You're missing
Yeah.
a small one? Okay. All right. Well, we'll get that taken care of for sure. Because I think you'll see that I don't think it looks as good with just one on there, but so we'll mail you a small one. No problem.
Okay.
Okay. And if, you know, I don't have a quality assurance person. This is my problem.
It took me a while to sort through all the little pieces to make sure it wasn't buried in something, but it's not here.
Well, yeah, and Darlene had that problem too. And then she went with Darlene, you found it on the floor or something?
No, I thought I found it, but I am missing it, in fact. So
Oh, now she is really missing
I
it.
just popped. I looked in there. I'm like, oh, I see 4. I guess I got them. And then I just opened it all up, and I'm like, oh no, I am missing a small bow.
Small bow.
But
Okay.
what I found is some of them were sticking to each other.
Oh.
So you may want to check that.
That's a good
Yes,
point.
they've been all separated. So
Okay.
I'm like, and then Karen got her package too, and she did it too. So just to make sure she didn't
And I
have an extra or something. But
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you. I will make sure we do that. All right. So once you have the front, hopefully everybody's got their front on there.
Mm-hmm.
The next we're going to do is take your designer series paper and adhere that to this piece of garden green cardstock. Okay, now here comes the bow tie. I know you're excited about it. After you have that put together, we're going to put on our bow. So you're going to take this piece of ribbon that you have and you're going to tie it in a double knot. So if you have tweezers available, when you get your first knot, like this, your first knot, you'll hold it in place. And this will keep your ribbon taut while you tie the other part of the bow or the knot. So if you have that available, if not, you'll be like me. You'll just hold it in place, go around, and pull it through so that you have your knot.
It's pretty ribbon.
Isn't it pretty? I love the double stitched satin. It's so rich looking. Okay, so everybody, how's everybody's bows going? Little knots.
Okay.
Very good.
Okay, great. If you want, if it's a little bit loose, your bow, and you want to keep it in place, then what you can do is take a glue dot and put it behind the knot so it stays in place. So I'll do that on mine. Mine's a little loose because I didn't have my tweezers. And I'll put it on the back of the bow, and then that'll keep it in place. So that's how it will look. And now I will trim the edges so that they're not hanging off the card and they have a nice little angle to them. So yours should look similar or like that. Okay, now we are ready to put our little bells on. So we're gonna start with the largest bell, and we're gonna put adhesive on the back, and we're going to stick that directly onto the card underneath the bow. Put the little bulb part of the jingle bell underneath the bow a little bit. And you can put it at a little angle if you want it, because we're gonna put another bell right next to it. Let me see. So kind of like that. The next bell that you'll put on will be the medium-sized bell. And if your little pieces are falling, which I did just lose my little leaf, but I'll go find him and I'll put him in there, then put a glue dot. You're going to put these up on dimensionals. Oh, actually, he's right here. I'm going to put actually dimensionals right on the back of this. It's going to be raised on your card, but for those little pieces, put your dimensionals right on top of it, and it'll keep those little pieces in place. And then we're going to adhere that to the card with dimensionals. And we're going to just slightly offset that. I'm going to stick mine under the bow as well. Okay, now the best way to put these little sprigs on is I like to use a glue dot with them. You could put adhesive on it, but in this case, I'm going to put them on, just use a large one and one small one for the front. And I'm going to put that on with a glue dot, yeah. At the very top of the sprig, because you're going to also kind of nest that underneath the bow just a little bit. Like so.
Oh, there.
And then put the small one on in a similar way. So I have the large one going off to the left and the small one going off to the right. Okay, now we'll be ready to put this piece onto the front of your card, and I did use dimensionals on the back of this to put it on. And if your ribbon is loose, I recommend putting a glue dot that straddles your ribbon and your paper so that the ribbon stays in place. If your ribbon seems a little bit loose, go ahead and put one, and that'll keep your ribbon in place. But because this is kind of a large piece, I'm a little generous with my glue dots. So I put quite a few. It's up to you how many you want to put on. Maybe I'll put one more on this top of the ribbon. And we'll put that on the front of our card. We'll center it on our card. And voila. Okay, only a couple more steps left for assembling this card. You've got these little tags. This is called the lovely. Let me see here. All the supplies are in the instructions as well. So lovely labels, pick a punch. This is the square part of the punch. And I know, Karen, you have this punch, and I really like the square version of the punch. And what I found is that if you just add a 1/4 inch to your labels and cut both sides, they'll be really perfectly nested, if you will. If you make one 1/4 inch smaller than the other, they'll nest perfectly. So that's how these tags were made, is using the lovely labels pick a punch. So you're going to take your Merry Christmas sentiment, and you're going to put adhesive on the back and layer it onto the red piece of label that is in your packet. Oops, I don't like how that's centered, so I'm going to take it off, center it a little better. Okay, and then this was also put up a little off center onto your card with dimensionals. I put 3 on the back because it's a long label. But you don't want them too far on the edge. Well, yeah, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Never mind. You'll be fine. And I like a little of the paper showing at the bottom. So there you go. How's everyone doing? Everyone get to this part?
Yep, just getting there.
Not quite there.
All right.
It is so striking with that embossed layer. Oh my goodness, I love that.
Yeah, it does add that dimension. I love that dainty diamonds.
Hmm. I feel like my go-to folder is the subtles folder, you know, for that like linen effect.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But this one would be, this one works really, really well too for just that really subtle texture back there.
Yeah, without being too much. Yeah, I love it too. Yeah, it is really pretty. So the last piece is taking your sentiment and putting it on the inside. And I always like that little extra on the inside, which will decorate this after we put it on. We'll decorate it with that last jingle bell. And some of you will have only one sprig until it meets up with its mate at some other date.
Rig. The lonely bough.
The lonely bough, yes. He's bowless. He's bowless.
Ooh, ooh.
How I did the inside. Looks like this time on the inside I have the sprig, the large sprig going off to the right, and then the small one going off to the left.